Hey everyone, I'm Phoebos, a.k.a. and welcome to the video. Today we'll be covering week 4 of Faketober. So, if you haven't watched the previous videos to follow along, you don't really have to have those videos, but just in case you haven't, the Faketober challenge is a challenge in which you get a prompt each day to design a Fakemon for. So effectively every day you design Fakemon for a single prompt you get. Faketober challenge I'm following along with is hosted by my friend Kirsty over on Instagram. Today we'll be covering day 20 through 26. So the prompts for today are day 20 Ice type, day 21 Gremlin, day 22 Object, day 23 Trapped, day 24 Glimmer, day 25 Bug, and day 26 Fury. Now I'll be honest, I'm not sure why, but this week I found myself in a very evolution type kind of mood. So anyway, let's get started. So day 20 Ice type, and oh my gosh, after the steampunk and the fungi prompts last week, I was so glad to see the ice prompt on this list. So this is me kind of trying to take some time to detox from doing more detailed design I did for the previous 2 days, making another cute and small design. I was considering reviving an old big icebreaker or whale, which I did as a sketch like years ago, but I realized that 2 other designs I made during the same period I made that whale would really fit this prompt and tomorrow's prompt a lot better. So let's meet the first now and the second over at the next prompt. Introducing Aurorime. Aurorime's name is a combination of both Aurora and rhyme. Its design is mainly inspired by a couple of different things actually, but it mostly comes down to omatomes, the Aurora Borealis, tadpoles, and kind of the Prince Rupert drop, making for a little snowball with a cutie face when you combine them all. To be fair, it is an old sketch given new life, so please forgive me for not putting in too much more extra thought for it. Anyway, let's go to its template. Aurora, the Aurora Trail Pokemon. The tail spouting from the top of its body sways and twirls about as it walks and floats around. As it does, it leaves a small Aurora trail in its wake. It is capable of short periods of flight. Its body is so light that as it jumps, it can slow down its descent by riding the wind down. Day 21, Gremlin. So given the prompt Gremlin and the old design I gave new life for the Ice type prompt in Aurorime, I figured I could also give a revival to what was its evolution at the time, which you probably noticed while I showed it off earlier too. Because to me, it fits so nicely with the Gremlin prompt. Because what is more befitting of a Gremlin energy character than good old Jack Frost? So let's meet Aurorime's newly improved evolution. Meet Jest Frost, with its name being a simple combination of the words Jester and Jack Frost. It may be a simple name, but then again, sometimes simple names are completely valid too. The thought that went into this update for Jest Frost was that I wanted to keep the Aurora theming that I established again in Aurorime, but I also wanted to expand on the trickster Gremlin energy and make it more of a joker, prankster, even a bit of a clown. Seeing as Jack Frost is often actually portrayed as being a mischievous boy. And again, it's also still a redesign of an old sketch I once did. So with that in mind, I do consider it a good update for it. Jestrost, the Winter Prince Pokemon. It is believed to only show up when the winter cold first arrives. Jestrost floats across the cold winter winds as its presence summons snowfall in its wake, leaving fresh snow by dawn. Common belief is when winter first arrives, a Jestrost has nipped at your nose, though it rarely does so in actuality. Though it appears Jestrost can cause instant colds if it actually does nip at your nose. Day 22. Object. So I was actually planning to do something completely different than what I ended up doing. Kinda blame tomorrow's prompt, because it did inspire me to do something else with the object Pokemon prompt that I got today. So for now, let's actually go ahead and meet Ferrosoul. Its name is inspired by Ferroseed actually. Its name comes from Pharaohs, containing iron, plus fear, plus soul, kind of making the phrase fear of the soul in its name. Ferroseed itself is a strange combination of a couple of objects, being a haunted birdcage, soul cage, fence. Ferrosoul is inspired by cages, but honestly I kind of feel like it's really inspired by the one Luma from the Super Mario movie. You know, the one, the Luma in the cage, that, you know, yearns for... Let's not say that, because I don't think YouTube likes me saying those words. Anyway, I still haven't seen that movie actually, so please, no spoilers. Ferrosoul itself became sort of a mixture of a trapped soul and a trapped bird in a living, or, well, better said, unliving haunted cage, carrying the soul with it forever and ever and ever. Something that also inspired the look for Ferrocage is the old style of executioner mask, those black cloths they wore over their heads, which also sort of links with its mouth being partially inspired by guillotines, and its slanted eyes and the tear marks under them also being meant to reflect the grieving soul trapped within. Ferrosoul, the caged soul Pokémon. Its cries haunt through abandoned castles. Its body is a cage for its own trapped, tormented soul, searching for a way to be given any semblance of peace. The soul it contains was once its own, though it has become fractured between the half controlling the body and the half that is still the soul. For this reason, neither can leave the other. Day 23. Trapped. Oh yeah, let's cover what inspired me to do Ferrosoul. Honestly, it's a bit hard to explain, but while looking at prompts for this week, I just had the idea of doing a trapped soul for the trapped prompt, which then became a caged soul, which is still trapped, but you know what I mean. That became Ferrosoul, but Ferrosoul was inspired by the idea for the trapped prompt. I'm not entirely sure how to explain how my brain put the two together, but when I had drawn the little bird cage for Ferrosoul, it kind of became the foundation for what came after it. So from there, something clicked in my head, and it started shaping and a new sketch, which became an Iron Maiden, with a soul trapped inside within his body, which became the early sketch for the evolution for Pheobos, from where I did work on Pheobos' final design first, to really make it a cohesive evolution line. So yeah, meet Maydamned. Maydamned's name is a combination of Iron Maiden and Damnation, or Damned. Its design takes inspiration, quite simply, from Iron Maidens, an old torture device in which spikes were built on the inside of the contraption the person was locked in. It also takes inspiration from a strange source, but Daleks from Doctor Who. Daleks are, in the most simplest terms, a race of genetically mutated aliens that are engaged in these big metal indestructible containers to protect them from harm, which is effectively what's going on with Maydamned 2. This, not the genetically mutated alien part. But looking at Maydamned, you'll see that the soul that was trapped within Pheobos has now been entirely encased within Maydamned's iron body. Its soul is now forever safe from harm, as long as it's keeping it inside of its shell. Maydamned, the cage the soul Pokémon. The cage its soul was trapped in has now become a full armor protecting what is left of its lost soul. It crushes any who seek to harm its soul within its heavy arms, impaling them with its many spikes. It is slow and virtually unmoving. Whenever it seeks to find a new place to rest, it can levitate its heavy body to move around. Day 24. Glimmer. Okay, so hear me out here. This is going to be a bit strange, but I need to go on a small tangent to make my thinking here make sense. Because in all honesty, I did stretch the prompt here a bit, but also, I do promise it will make sense. So, have you ever actually seen beetles? Or, for that matter, beetle larvae? I'd advise you to look away just for a second if you do not want to see beetle larvae, but I'm going to have to show them to make sure my thinking here makes sense while I'm explaining it. Both beetles and beetle larvae have a faint to even a strong glimmer to them, which sparked in me the desire to make a beetle larva. The other reason I'll tell you in just a bit. But for now, let's meet Gremlin. Now I'll be honest, I got sick this week, so I really wanted to keep up with Faketober, but I didn't really have the energy to do something big and complicated. So I decided that doing a relatively simple baby Pokemon design would be a good way to go about it. I could conserve my energy and do something fun. So, here we have a baby evolution for Heracross, and its name is a simple combination of Grub and Beetle, because it's a beetle, it's a baby for Heracross after all. Grubbeetle, tiny horned Pokemon, a newly discovered baby Pokemon that has been connected to Heracross. It seems that it has gone mostly unnoticed, through it only ever appearing on trees slathered with honey. Its tiny claws allow it to attach to the trees it gets its honey from. The little horn on its head allows for it to puncture the tree to release more sap. Day 25. Bug. And it wasn't just bug type, it was simply just bug. I could have done a lot of things with this. I could have done digital bugs, like glitches or things like that. a state of insects, or maybe something that bugs you, or, it's up for interpretation. But I decided to just simply go with insects still, the bug type, because, like I just mentioned before, I got sick this week and, I didn't have too much energy to go about, and I wanted to do something which I thought would be fun. So here goes me into more explanation for why I did a Heracross baby for Glimmer. Beetles and beetle larvae, for that matter, are very shiny in my opinion. They glimmer, if you will. And that thought process led me to the thought of doing something cool with Heracross, which was a thought I had before I started doing a baby version for Heracross. So what I ended up doing, for no actual region in particular, I made a regional form for Heracross, based on Egyptian scarabs and common depictions of them. So yeah, let's meet Heracross. I actually almost made it a psychic type for some reason. It's a bug and steel type now. I kind of figured out it would be more fun if it was actually a straight up golden scarab. So here you go. Effectively speaking, it did become a jewel scarab, which themselves can be found in gold colorations. But apart from that, it also takes inspiration from Khepri, and I hope I pronounced that right, the Egyptian scarab-faced god who was said to represent the rising and the moving of the morning sun, and it's therefore known as the sun god, and was also viewed as a god of renewal. If you look at Heracross' horn and the elements in its wings, you can, for example, see those as it carrying the sun in its horn. Heracross, the golden horn Pokémon. It rarely uses its big horn to fight or lift foes. Instead, the gem that adorns its horn has become its main tool for combat, firing off bright rays from within. This Heracross variant's body is covered in an actual golden exoskeleton. Its more developed wings allow for it to fly without the need to break, unlike other Heracross. Day 26, Fury. So while thinking of what I could possibly do for Fury, I realized I could circle back to my first region actually, and do some Greco-Roman inspired Fakemon. So meet our Reaper. Its name comes from Harpy, Harrier, and Reaper. In Greco-Roman mythology, you have a group of 3 female goddesses, who are collectively called the Ernias. I hope I pronounced it right. If I don't, please let me know. These were Electra, Tisiphone, and Megara. These goddesses were also known as the Furies. You might be familiar with them if you've ever played the game Hades, where the 3 of them are boss characters you have to fight to progress, which did inspire me to do this design. Now, I wasn't going to do 3 separate ones for the Furies, but figuring that just doing one would be enough. Our Reaper, the Fury Pokémon, is rarely ever seen and thought of as a Pokémon of old myth, where it torments the impure souls of those who have passed on into the underworld. Its feminine appearance sways those it spawned to torment into a false sense of safety. It instead lashes at them with its claws and sharp wings. Those frustrated are whipped by its hair. Okay, though that was it for today, so thank you so much for watching the video. If you liked it, please consider leaving a like or subscribing for more. Oh, and let me know in the comments which of these 7 designs you like best for this week. Next week will be the last for Faketober with only 5 prompts remaining, so expect a shorter one next time. I didn't even expect this video to go on for as long as it did. Anyway, that's it for me for now, so thank you again for watching if you made it till the end, and I hope to see you next time I upload. Bye bye! Oh, P.S. YouTube thinks you might like this video next.